طيبا مباركا فيه ونحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به عز وجل ونتوكل عليه ونستحييه ونعوذ بالله تعالى من شرور انفسنا ومن سيئات اعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له ولا عديل ولا خلف لقوله ولا تبديل واشهد ان حبيبنا محمدا صلى الله عليه واله وسلم عبده ورسوله وصفيه وخليله بلغ الرساله وادى الامانه ونصح الامه وجاهد في سبيل الله عز وجل وعبد ربه تعالى حتى اتاه اليقين صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى اله الذين اذهب الله عنهم الرزق وطهرهم تطهيرا ورضي عن صحباته الراشدين المباركين ورحمه على تبين لهم بخير واحسان الى يوم الدين. اللهم ارزقنا شفاعة محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم ولا تحرمنا صحبته إنك أنت أرحم الراحمين. وأما بعد عباد الله أوصيكم ونفسي المذنبات أولا بتقوى الله. فيقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. ويقول الله عز وجل: إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. عباد الله، اعلموا أن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وخير الحديث حديث محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثات بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Dear beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, we as Muslims, we have contemporary challenges, and all the challenges that we have remedies in Quran and Sunnah. We see that we have issues in the Muslim world and we have domestic issues. In Muslim world right now, one of our biggest issues is that we have fighting between Muslims based upon ta'assub, the madhabiyya and unsuriya, right? People begin to fight each other based upon madhab difference or methodology difference. Many different countries in Libya, Egypt, Iraq, Nigeria, etc. And then also connected with this sometimes is also al-unsuriya, al-asabiyya relating to tribalism and racism. And this is part of what I want to focus on today. Because as we have a problem in the broader community with Islamophobia, where the non-Muslims are racist against the Muslims, we have to check ourselves and ask ourselves as individually and institutionally, do we have unsuriya amongst ourselves as Muslims? And then if we do, what are we doing to mitigate the asabiyya and the unsuriya amongst the Muslims in America? Because this is a moral challenge for us. How can we complain to the broader society about the anti-Muslim bigotry against us if we in fact show racism amongst each other? One of the trademarks in the Hijaz in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was al-asabiyya, the tribalism system, where people would treat other people lesser of different tribe, and even feuds, like between Bani Aus and Bani Khazraj, where people would fight each other. And they fought each other for so long they would even forget the reason why they started fighting to begin with. But when people would slur other people based upon how they looked. We want to see how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam dealt with this issue so that we can apply it to our present community today. And I want to use, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, 3 examples. 3 examples that relate to around a great man, one of the greatest men who've ever walked this earth. Related to Sayyidul Mu'adhdhineen, Bilal ibn Rabah, radiallahu anhu. First, if you look at the books of Islamic history in ahadith, narrated Sunan al-Bayhaqi and other books, you'll see that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in his first khutbah that he gave in Medina, which is very short, you know, his khutbah were very short, weren't as long as we give today. We need more help today than the Sahaba need, perhaps. فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم تحبوا بروح الله بينكم. He told Sahaba, show love each other with the spirit of Allah between you. Now, think of this. When he came to Medina, you had Muhajirin, people who weren't indigenous to Medina. Some of those who came there, in fact, were ex-slaves, and some of them were not even Arab, like Bilal, like Mi'jab, Mawla' Umar ibn al-Khattab, like Salim, like Khabbab, like Salman al-Farsi, like Ayman, also known as Baraka, radiallahu anhum ajma'een. Weren't Arab. And then you had these tribes fighting. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam took all of them, تَحَبُّ بِرُوحِ اللَّهِ بَيْنَكُمْ. Show love to one another with the spirit of Allah between you. Meaning that the focus of why we love each other as Muslims is based upon our love for He subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the foundation of our love. And we're supposed to love each other as believers if we want to get the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يقول الله عز وجل قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله. Say, if you love God, then follow me, meaning Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then God will love you. Do we think about we need to follow the Prophet in love? Nabil Wudud, Imam al-Rahmah, in love and mercy that we show towards the believers? This is one of the first things that we have to follow. Him, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is in love. Loving the believers and loving humanity. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما لا يحب لنفسه. Now see, none of you can really claim real iman, our Prophet says, until you love for your brother and your sister what you love for your own soul. So one of the things that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did was, he came with a brotherhood and sisterhood compact. And when he paired off one brother with another brother, and he made them to be confidants and best friends. And a sister with another sister. It's like Bilal was made the brother of Abu Darda, who was Arab, Madani, and was a businessman. These were the relationships that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam tried to make between the brothers in Medina. So we as Muslims outside the masjid, if all we do is socialize with people who specifically look like us or just speak the same mother tongue, we miss something very important in the Sunnah, as Sunnah Nabawiyyah. We miss the model of how as-Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'een established a model community. They visit each other's homes. They pray together. They shared their joys and their pains with each other. as-Sahaba, radiallahu anhum. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he saw racism come amongst the ummah, amongst the Muslims, he was not passive about it, he called it out publicly. He was concerned about correcting problems and also helping to heal the hearts between the believers, helping to bring justice to the injured. In Hadith Mashhur, there was a khilaf between two of the kibar min as-sahaba. Abu Dharr, radiallahu anhu, wa Bilal. And in this dispute, قال أبو ذر لبلال يا ابن سوداء, oh, you son of a black woman. This is a true statement now. Bilal was the son of a black woman. His mother was Habashia, Ethiopian. But Abu Dhar tried using this as a put down. Actually, if you read the books of the history, the biography of the Sahaba, was very interesting about this that misses most people, that when you even read the description of how Abu Dhar looked, Kana asmurullah, ana asmar. In the Arabic language, I have brown skin. Abu Dhar had brown skin. But Bilal was darker. Abu Dhar's mother was born a free woman, was Bilal's mother was darker and had been enslaved. He uses as a put down. Bilal went to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and it said he had hazan. He was grieved. He was crying by this insult by Abu Dhar. And Bilal related the story. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam went to Abu Dhar, the grand Sahaba, and said, Ya Abu Dhar, you have some of the Jahiliyyah still in you. You have some of the days of ignorance that predate Islam in you. Abu Dhar then went to make matters right, and he offered to go lay down on the ground so that Bilal could put his foot right here to atone for the insults. And some of the narrations said that Bilal said Afwan, or even there's many narrations of this, he pardoned them and they embraced. And they became good friends after that. So we have to be careful what we say to each other. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يدخلون أحدكم عبدي فكلكم عبيد الله. See, none of you should call anyone my slave, for all of you are slaves of God. Sometimes some people have a bad habit of calling people with black skin abid. It's haram. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam corrected the Sahaba amongst doing this language, but unfortunately, when black people travel around some countries, even myself, I was in Al-Medina, and I had someone call me abd. La hawla la quwwata illa billah. Where are we at? We have to correct ourselves. If we love for our brother what we love for ourselves, we would not call anyone disparaging names because we don't want anyone calling us disparaging names. This is part of the foundation of the akhlaqiyat of Islam, of the Islamic ethics. That hadith is one of the most important foundations of the ethics of Islam, our spirituality. Now he believes in what he loves for his brother, what he loves for his own soul. Min al-khayr, that which is good and constructive. What is good and constructive. So we have another lesson of the greatness from about Bilal. The next one is, in a narration, Bilal had more than one wife. Before he married Hala, the sister of Abdurrahman ibn Auf, he was single man. No, Abdurrahman ibn Auf was the Bill Gates of the Sahaba, by the way. He was the richest Rasulullah. But before then, there was a tribe that came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Bani Bukair. Bani Bukair said, "O Messenger of God, do you have someone to marry one of our sisters?" فقال صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أين أنتم عن بلال? Where are you at regarding Bilal? They turned around and left. They didn't like that one. Because Bilal was black and he was an ex-slave. These are Arab. Sahaba. They come back another time later. Do you have someone to marry one of our sisters? فقال حبيب الله صلى الله عليه وآله وصحبه وسلم أين أنتم عن بلال? Where are you at regarding Bilal? They turned around and left again. They turned away from the nasiha of the greatest of God's creation. They had the audacity to come back a third time. Do you have someone to marry one of our sisters? فقال حبيب الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أين أنتم عن بلال؟ أين أنتم عن رجل من أهل الجنة? Where are you at regarding Bilal? Where are you at regarding a man from the people of paradise? Then they allowed that marriage to take place. And other marriages like this took place of intertribal, interracial. Like Fatima bin Qais and Usama bin Zayd. Many of these. Salman al-Farsi married a Yemeni. Al-Miqdad bin al-Aswad married Duba'a bint al-Zubayr, the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. See? We have a problem with our community and marriage. Sometimes parents try to deny their daughters to marrying a boy for un-Islamic reasons. The more similarities, the better, but it is not proper to deny your daughter to marry someone because your daughter is Palestinian and she's interested in a boy that's Pakistani. It's not acceptable. You see? Or if you're Indonesian and the guy that comes and wants to marry your daughter is African American. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam came to break up this unsariya, this ma'asabiyya. He came to do away with this. The Khulafa came to do away with this after him. Ali ibn Abi Talib, karamallahu ta'ala wajhu. After Fatima az-Zahra passed, he married a woman who gave birth to his son, who was widely known as Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya. You know what she looked like? Kanat Sindhiya Sauda. She was from India with very black skin, darker than mine. Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib married this woman. Lastly, in the Fath Mecca, we're talking about Bilal. Bilal was one of those who was given the honor that even Abu Bakr and Umar ibn Khattab did not get two of these honors that Bilal got at Fath Mecca. The first honor is Bilal went into Al-Kaaba with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to help cleanse the Kaaba of the false gods. The second honor was he was the only man to have gone on top of Baytullah on Al-Kaaba and called the adhan. When he went to call the adhan, as narrated in the books of Asbab al-Nuzul, 3 men were down at the bottom of Kaaba. One Arab said that he thanked God, he thanked Allah, that his father did not live to see this day. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-azim. The second man said, could not Muhammad have found someone else to do this than this Ghurab al-Aswad? Ghurab al-Aswad is like a black crow. Another racial slur, you see. The third was Abu Sufyan, who kept his mouth shut. Allah Azza wa Jalla then revealed, which Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam recited at that time, Ya ayyuhan nas, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila li ta'arafu, inna akramakum indallahi atqakum, inna Allaha alimun khabir. O people, we created you from a single man and a single woman, single male, single female, and made you into different nations and tribes that you may get to know one another, meaning not to despise each other. And surely the most honorable of you with God are those of you who have the most taqwa. Not whether you used to be a slave or not, who has the most money, whether you're male or female, whether you have light skin or dark skin. Not the criteria in Islam. Islam is helped to come to bring an egalitarian system amongst us, amongst the human family. The ayah that people say, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, it says, Ya ayyuhan nas, for all people. And we Muslims are supposed to exhibit the best of harmony between the human family. America prides itself on being a model of diversity and pluralism. As a functioning model in reality, the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is supposed to exhibit that more than any other community in America. But we have to exhibit it in our home life, in our social gatherings, in our community institutions. If not, then we are missing something very important in Islam. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, we are missing something very important in Islam if we overlook this. May Allah Azza wa Jalla bring together our hearts in love. Amen. May Allah Azza wa Jalla pardon us of our mistakes. Amen. May Allah Azza wa Jalla rid our community of any tribalism and racism. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله ثم الحمد لله الحمد لله عدد ما في السماوات والأرض وأفضل الصلاة وتم التسليم على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وأما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, I will be here bi'idhnillahi ta'ala between Maghrib prayer and Isha that will be giving a lecture in terms to how to answer and discuss with the broader American public difficult questions posed about Muslims in Islam that we are posed with, such as the whole discussion about Sharia and these types of the Murtad issue and all of these things. We want to have a discussion about this, inshallah, have a dialogue. But in conclusion, and I come from Detroit, I'm the executive director of the Michigan chapter of CARE. For those of you who do not know me, I have a message for the young men here, but all of you especially, to convey this message to those who aren't here. Convey the message. Those who aren't a witness, convey the message. Is that we need to explain to our young people, and you young men, let me speak directly to you young men. I know that you see a lot of things on YouTube and on the internet, on Facebook, about atrocities, about what's going on in certain Muslim countries, like what's going on in Iraq right now, or in Syria, or about other places of which calamities are befalling Muslims, and there are groups of Muslims that are fighting and killing each other. Listen to the leaders of your community and do not attempt to try to go over there and get involved in that fight. That's not your place to go. Everyone who's on YouTube who speaks eloquently is not an alim. Just because someone has memorized a lot of ayat and ahadith and then speaks passionately does not mean that's a mujtahid or a mufti or an alim that can give fatwa to give you permission to leave your home to go to get involved in that. That's not legitimate. Number one. Number two, you can get yourself in trouble and cause grief upon your parents. And three, when young Muslims do this, like some cases that took place in Minnesota, for instance, when some brothers went claiming they were going to join a Shabab, this caused scrutiny and pressure and problems for all the Muslims. It caused scrutiny and pressure and distorted the surah al-Islamiyah, the picture of Islam, in those cities when those young men ran off and got themselves in trouble or got killed or did some sort of thing over there in those places. I implore you, do not attempt to go to Syria or Iraq or Somalia and these places and get involved in what's going on right there regarding the fight. Do not do it. Do not do it. If you have any more questions about this, we can talk, and you have your Sheikh here, Sheikh Hussein, can talk to you about your feelings and what you're going through. Don't let yourself get controlled or overpowered by emotions. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الغضب من الشيطان. To act off of anger is from the devil. Don't let your anger push you to do something that's going to get you and your family in trouble. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما اعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت انك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك انه لا يذل من وليت ولا يعز من اديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت ولك الحمد على ما قضيت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك ونؤمن بك ونتوكل عليك اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات ومسلمين مسلمات والأحياء منهم وأموات. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم انصر إخواننا في كل مكان يا رب العالمين. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك بالعزة عما يصفون والسلام